had written many letters to the foreign ministry saying I would like to go to Shanghai, and finally called them in frustration, and they said, "We are sorry, but the people of Shanghai are busy in these days." I said, "But there are 15 million people in Shanghai. I'm only one. I just need an interpreter and a driver. They are busy in these days." So and I thought, well, I'm going to press this. And I said, that's not a good enough answer. And they said, well, there's another problem. It is raining in Shanghai. And I said, well, I come from a country where we're very familiar with rain. And I actually fooled myself into thinking, after exchanges like this with Chinese officialdom, that I was quite clever and that for every barrier they put up, I could dismantle it pretty quickly. And it took me an extraordinary length of time to realize that it wasn't me who was making them look stupid. In their eyes, once I had declined to accept their first polite, if absurd, no, I was the absurd one. I was the ridiculous one to think that I could persuade China against its will to let me go to places I didn't want to go. But it turned out that the uniformity of life in the Cultural Revolution, at least, I mean, China is a hugely diverse place, as we know, but the important things about China in the Cultural Revolution were actually accessible to anybody who had a bicycle. I lived literally 5 minutes from the countryside on a bicycle, and you could go out into the villages and talk to people unmonitored and get a pretty good idea. And the evidence that there was a great repression, as I've already said, was not really very hard to seek. It became relatively easy to determine what was going on in China. And what's more, there were plenty of Chinese, as there are in every repressive society, who, if you give them a chance and find the right occasion, will tell you the truth. Of course, they won't do it when they're walking through the streets waving the red book. But if you go into a furniture shop, we used to spend hours browsing through the old antique shops in Peking, a lovely area called Liulichang, which I gather has been bulldozed now. And you come to know the people there. You could go and sit there in front of a pot-bellied stove all afternoon and talk to them about everything. So all the efforts that these repressive regimes make to hide the truth are ultimately unavailing.